Namandam, 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 namandam. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our September Shotsuki Hoyo monthly memorial and adult Dharma service. Welcome to those of you here in person and also everyone online. I'd like to begin by, oh, hang on. Yeah, we're good. I'd like to begin by reading the names of those who've passed away in the month of September. Satsuki Abe, Joe Deguchi, John Fujimoto, Nui Fujimoto, Hiroshi Fujiwara, Fumi Fukawa, Setsuko Furuta, Chieko Harada, Chiyoko Hiramoto, Takayo Tamura Hiramoto, Hatsumi Hirao, Tatsumi Hori, Harry Hoshi, Masuji Idehara, Suekichi Idehara, Kannoku Kada, Masaru Kanada, Masutaro Kanesaki, Harry Katayama, Tomi Kisanuki, Nobuo Kitagaki, Mei Clevin, Komae Kobata, Sada Koizumi, Ruth Shigematsu Kosu, Toyo Kuwahara, Mitsu Matsui, Ronald Matsui, Kumiko Matsumoto, Tazuko Matsushino, Alice Ayako Matsutani, James Messenzel, Alice Minamidani, Eizo Minamidani, Toshiro Minamoto, Toshio Mitsuda, Kenso Miura, Kameso Miyamoto, Aiko Mizuhara, Rei Mori, Tsuru Mori, Zenshiro Mori, Russell Muraoka, Harukichi Murakishi, Tsurukichi Nagafuji, Harumi Nagai, Tsuru Naito, John Nakagawa, Rowena Nakagawa, Magohei Nakagiri, Kengo Nakahara, Chiyotaro Nakano, Kenichi Nakano, Kofuji Nakano, Yoshiko Nakao, Toyoko Nakao, Kikutaro Nakashima, Sandra Nakashima, Yoi Nakashima, Sanae Negi, Ito Nishimoto, Akio Noda, Fumiko Obayashi, Mary Fujie Ogawa, Elsie Ogata, Kai Oka, George Richard Okano, Danzaburo Okawa, Robert Oto, Kimie Ozawa, Kozo Sasaki, Ray Simon Robles, Kazuko Seiji, Reverend Shusei Shimada, Shigeru Shimamura, Miyoko Shimizu, Mitsuo Shintani, Alan Suehiro, Kazunori Tsunada, Kusataro Tsunayama, Kaoru Suto, Marsha Tagami, Kazuo Takahashi, Fumie Takashima, George Takashima, Sugi Takashima, Harue Tamura, Hanako Terakawa Tamura, Gihei Tanada, Matsue Tani, Mary Taniguchi, Hayano Toyofuku, Chiyo Tsuchiya, Muraku Tsuchiya, Tome Tsujimoto, Keoru Umeki, George Ushijima, Sarakichi Wada, Tomo Watanabe, Jerry Yamamoto, Johnny Yamamoto, Masaru Yamamoto, Sashichi Yamamoto, Shichiro Yokomizo, Shoji Yoshida, George Yoshioka, Tadaichi Yoshioka. Okay, next we'll have Sutra chanting, and we will be chanting Juseige. So you can chant along, or you can think about your loved ones that we are honoring during the chanting. Namanda, 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 namanda. ガゴンチョセガンヒシムジョドシガンフ満足セイフ上昇学ガオ無量庫不意大摂取不採小便具セイフ上昇学がし成仏道妙所長実法苦境未所門セイフ上昇学利欲人少年上映主凡行しぐむ浄土一生天人師人力縁大公不生無才道少女三苦名交際主役難海一へ言滅死根も安閉塞小悪道通達全宗門こそ上満足いよろ実法日月主寿期天候音符言一種解放像公正苦毒法上大集中説法ししく供養一切仏具足主徳本元年出上満徳意三害を如仏無下地通達未不詳願学へ力投資最小損志願や国家大戦を感動国書天人とうち妙見ナモ阿弥陀仏ナモ阿弥陀仏ナモ阿弥陀仏ナモ阿弥陀仏ナモ阿弥陀仏ナモ阿弥陀仏
にしくどく平等性際道本菩提心往生安楽国。南無阿弥陀仏。南無阿弥陀仏。南無阿弥陀仏。南無阿弥陀仏。南無阿弥陀仏。Oops. Okay. There. So I'd like to now deliver the Dharma message. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us for our Shotsuki Hoyo, our monthly memorial service. We've been doing these in person for a little while, but you know, today's kind of a new day. It's the beginning of the Dharma school year. You know, we haven't had service for a few weeks, and it's nice to be back, and it's nice to have people in person, nice to have people online, and you know, we're going to keep doing this for our services. So what I'd like to talk about today is a dream that I had. I had what I found to be a very interesting, vivid dream, maybe 4 or 5 days ago now. And I'm the type of, not the type of person, I'm someone who sometimes remembers my dreams. I know not everyone does. My understanding is everyone dreams, but not everyone remembers. And so I'm sometimes aware that I'm dreaming, but, you know, and pretty often I think I kind of have some memory of my dreams. But this one really hit me. So it was kind of like I was at BCA National Council meeting, like I was at a hotel, and there was this big area, and all the ministers were there, and it was gonna be my father's funeral service. Now my father passed away almost 21 years ago, but that wasn't in the dream. Like it was gonna be my dad's funeral service, and so all the BCA ministers were there, and you know, parts of the dream are really a lot of details, others are that kind of vague, kind of dream-like state. But it seemed like some of the older ministers that were still active when I started was kind of my impression, right? And I do remember that I had this awareness that I wasn't going to be the chosho or the doshi. I wasn't going to be the main seat. I was going to sit in the next seat. Maybe because I'm gicho, I'm not sure. You know, normally in your own family service, you wouldn't be chanting. You'd be sitting in the gejin. But for this dream, I was in there and I knew I was going to be ringing the bell. And then, you know, it was a dream, so a lot of it doesn't make sense and isn't really clear. But I do remember people saying things, and I don't remember what they said, but I just started crying, like bawling, right? Letting out these tears. And then someone else would say something. I was just crying. And like I wasn't like, I was just kind of sitting there, I think. And so I remember thinking, do people realize I'm crying? Right? But it didn't matter. I was like letting out these tears. But the thing is, it felt good. Right? That it as much as it was this deep expression of sadness, I just felt calm, and it felt right. And it felt like what I needed to do. All kinds of other things happened. Steve Terusaki was in my dream, and like there was this weird machine that like made this like kind of like mechanical Cuban music that was really cool. There's all kinds of stuff happening. It's like it's a dream, right? So it's like each kind of episode and things change. But then at one point, I realized I was waking up and I didn't want it to end. Like I realized, oh no, I'm waking up. I want to stay here for a while. Right? It's really interesting. And then I finally realized I'm awake. And sometimes with a dream like that, some dreams, you're like, shoo, I'm glad that was a dream. That was terrible. That was terrifying, right? But this one was like, I didn't want it to end. But I did wake up finally, and I kept like trying to play through parts of it in my mind after. But then finally I was like, you know what? I'm going to get up. And I went and I turned on my computer and I took like a whole page of just trying to get my memory of this dream out on the page. Part of me thinks, I really feel like when I woke up, I wasn't actually crying. It was just crying in the dream. Like sometimes you kick in the dream, you kick something, right? And then you wake up and you're like, whoa, what happened? I had a muscle spasm or something, right? And made up a whole dream about it, right? But this was only crying like in the dream. But one thing I realized is I think that's the first time I felt those feelings, right? Maybe it was really the first time that I mourned my father. 21 years later. Right? I've talked about my dad at various times during this past I've been here at BCO. But one definite thing is that when my father first died, I didn't mourn. I didn't feel anything. I was just this kind of blank, no feeling whatever. And it took a while, like this is years. And it wasn't until, that was 2002, I started here 2009, and it wasn't for a few years before I could really even think about him again. So that's what, 7 years, 8 years to kind of push my dad out of my mind, right? To not think about him. Because when I did feel myself thinking, I could kind of feel that pain and loss behind it, and I was like, no, not gonna do that, all right? So I kind of, that's just me. I know everyone's different, everyone mourns differently, right? This is just how I dealt with it, by not dealing with it. It was really interesting to have this dream 21 years later, right? And let out some of those feelings. Like finally feel some of that. That I think I just found to be really kind of a fascinating experience. Because sometimes it's hard, huh? It's too hard. It's too painful. And either you can't help it and you go through it, or you control it and suppress it and don't deal with it. I've learned just from being a minister and being under Reverend Yamaoka, and that I think it's the best thing, the healthier thing to do is to feel it, right? To experience those feelings when you can, right? And let them out. But I also feel like there's no proper way to mourn. There's no correct way to mourn, right? We each do it in our own way. We're each unique. Each had our own relationships with various people, right? So that we have to kind of navigate that in our own way. Okay? But I do feel like Buddhism tells us stuff about how to try and navigate this, right? And that we're each different, and to feel it when you can, and if you can't, like I say, it's okay if that's where you're at. But eventually, letting it out, I think, is the most important thing. So I thought that was interesting to experience it in a dream. Now, Buddhism says a lot of stuff about dreams, actually. Shinran Shonin had a really important dream when he was a monk from age 9, right? And then age 29, he's finally like, this is not working. So he leaves Mount Hiei in Kyoto, and if you've ever been there, Rokkakudo in Kyoto, it's this hexagonal-shaped, six-sided building, temple building. It's still there in Kyoto. It's kind of downtown Kyoto now, and it's surrounded by these tall buildings and everything. But the temple building is still there. So he went there to try and get some kind of, what's going on? Why isn't this working on Mount Hiei? And then he has a dream about Prince Shotoku, right? Who says, I will manifest as a woman, right? And lead you to the Pure Land. And so it's thought that this dream helped him be okay with being with Eshini, right? Who became his wife. We don't know exact details of when he got married and when all that kind of stuff happened. But for Shinran, he's a monk. Monks are supposed to be celibate, right? And he's in this relationship with a woman. And so this dream that he has, I think, is part of the process of him continuing to live his life in the only way he can. And he also encounters Honen, right? Encounters the teaching of Namo Amida Butsu, right? And learns this teaching of Honen to live your life in whatever way that allows you to say Nembutsu, right? If you're a monk and it's getting in the way of your Nembutsu, become a layperson. If you're a layperson and you're not able to do the Nembutsu, then become a monk. That's Honen's approach. Do whatever it takes. So for Shinran, get married. Right? Pretty amazing. You're a monk? Yeah, get married. Now there's evidence that maybe she was a member of Honen's group, right? And that's partly why Shinran became this like important disciple, even though there's not a lot of records about it, but he was allowed to copy Honen's Senjakushu and, this really close relationship he had with Honen. And so Eshini may well have been part of that. And it's connected to this dream. Next month, we're going to do Eshini Ko, right? Eshini and then Kakushini, their daughter, right? And Lady Otani, right? But Eshini actually wrote letters to their daughter Kakushini, and one of the letters, we still have them, is about a dream that she had about Shinran. And in her dream, she saw Shinran as a bodhisattva, right? In Shinran's dream, he saw Eshini as Prince Shotoku, but also as Kannon Bosatsu, as a Avalokiteshvara bodhisattva, is part of the connection, right? So they each had a dream, this really profound, important dream that helped them and continue to walk the path. So dreams, I think pre-modern times too. When I put this dream that I had on Facebook, so one of my Facebook friends who's actually a BCO member said, he posted a picture of the Freud book on the interpretation of dreams. He's like, and I was like, I'm not going to apply Freudian analysis to this. I don't want to do that. I'm just going to enjoy my dream. Let's not ruin it with this kind of thing. Although in pre-modern times, dreams so important, right? Now we just watch TV, right? Or watch a movie or something. People didn't used to have movies and TV, right? So I think that your dream life was really important and different than it is for us now. Now we can just right? But pre-modern people's dreams are so important, so significant. Now, the other thing I want to add, Buddhism and dreams, is that there's an expression in Buddhism or an understanding, life is like a dream. So I think I'm awake now, right? But Buddhism says, but there's dream-like aspects to life in itself. And I think back to my dream and that feeling of, I don't want it to end. No, don't end yet. Poof. Impermanence. Life can be like that. Right? We don't chant Junirai so much, but there's a line in Junirai that says life is like a flash of lightning. It's like a drop of dew. Right? So there's deep insights of Buddhism of how fleeting life is. I'm past the halfway mark to 100. I'm going to hit 52 in less than a month, right? When I was 25, I had no idea, right? When I was 10, I had no idea. And then I got no idea what 70 or 80 is like, or 90, or 95, 102, whatever, right? But as we age, right, as we go through life, I think our perspective changes, huh? Totally different than 10 years ago, 20 years ago, huh? But that's what everyone goes through, if you're able to live that long, right? And I think Buddhism's insights into the nature of existence, right? And recognizing, to me, it seems like, yeah, I've been around a long time and I've had some fun, and things were different when I was a kid, for sure. Uh, but maybe this insight of life being like a dream is to recognize how precious it is, right? To realize, wow, I thought I had all the time in the world. I thought, take everything for granted. Who cares, right? Nope. Life is precious. And as much as impossible as it is maybe to take advantage of every single moment, but I think the Buddha is encouraging us not to take life for granted, right? Not to just let it slide by. Everything, right? Everything that we go through is an opportunity to reflect. Everything is a chance to reflect on life, my life, right? And all the lives that I encounter, right? That we're, like I said in the first service, we're all interconnected. And this interconnected web of life, right? That Buddhism wants us to be aware of it, right? A kind of awareness of the fleeting nature of life, maybe. But it doesn't, some people might say, yeah, it's depressing, sensei. Don't depress me like that. But it's not supposed to be depressing. It's supposed to be invigorating. Whoa, you're right. I forgot. Okay, I'm gonna do that thing I keep telling myself I want to do, and I just never get around to it. Nope, maybe I should try and do it. Right? That maybe this insight will it changes who we are, huh? If we awaken to that, if we realize that, we're shown that, and maybe that's part of Ho Om, right? That this idea of bonding to the benevolence. We have our host groups, right? And our host group did a wonderful job today and yesterday. They were cleaning up outside, and we think, oh, host, that's just like Toban, that's work, right? That's just something obligation that I have to do once a year. No, 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 no. That's not what Ho On is. Well, host group might be kind of, right? But it means Ho On service team, right? So it's a service team, but this Ho On idea of responding to the benevolence, right? Feeling that embrace of Amida Buddha, recognizing how wonderful the temple is, right? What it enables us to be able to do, to be able to gather, to be able to be with our friends, to be able to honor our loved ones in a special way. And so realizing that, a lot of times we just translate it as gratitude. But I think gratitude is just kind of thank you, thank you. Ho On is responding to the benevolence. There's a response. So it could just be thank you. It could be Namo Amida Butsu, right? Or it could be, oh yeah, oh, I gotta go do this or that or whatever. Or maybe I gotta think about my life. Maybe what I'm doing isn't what I really want to do, or whatever. There's no set thing. It's for each one of us to encounter, right? For each one of us to respond in our own way, in our own circumstances. So it being Shotsuki, one really important aspect of this is that our loved ones who are listed on our Shotsuki list, I read the names at the beginning of the service, they're part of that call, right? They're part of this whole process. And so thinking about them, reflecting on them, the impact they have in your life, just how you saw them, how you remember them. They're part of Amida Buddha's call. They're part of that benevolence that we're responding to, right? So I think that the Shotsuki is just really, really special, wonderful service. I've done so many of them now, huh? I've done like 13 September Shotsukis per year, right? Reading the name, and then the list gets longer, and the more people I know, and I can be like 13th year, 12 years ago, I was here for that. The list is amazing. It's in some ways it stays the same people are on it, but then it grows, more and more people. But the web, that just means the web is spreading more and more and more, right? And that more people are joining this call, calling out to us to hear the Dharma, calling out to us to hear the name, calling out to us to reflect on ourselves and our relationships as we recite the Nembutsu. So why don't we conclude the Dharma message with Gassho. reflecting on our lives, recognizing that life is like a dream. Let us awaken to the preciousness of life and let us respond to the benevolence of Amida Buddha's great compassion. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo. Okay, I don't think there's a whole bunch of announcements other than look at the BCO website and the BCA website. Next week will be Shotsuki. I'm not Shotsuki, Ohigan. Is summer over yet? I heard that Labor Day is kind of like unofficial end of summer, and that didn't work. So maybe with Ohigan, we can get. I mean, we got relief now, past couple days, huh? But there too, as much as I hate the heat, and it's kind of mind blowing. Let us also try and understand what's going on and recognize, wow, this is not good, right? And appreciate the cool days. That's what I've learned too, huh? I appreciate every day that's not a heat wave. And it's even so much more now that what we just went through. So thank you very much, everyone. Do you want to sing? Some people are getting up to go. I guess not. We can sing. Why don't we sing Ondok-san? I don't have the recording, but we can just do it a cappella. Hopefully you know the lyrics. Maybe you don't know the lyrics though, huh? Now let's do it. And you can just listen to my beautiful voice if you don't know the lyrics, okay? So we'll just do Ondok-san 2, the regular one. Ready, go. 如来大の音読は身を粉にしてもほずべし知種知識の音読も骨を砕きてもシャすべし。南無阿弥陀仏。南無阿弥陀仏。南無阿弥陀仏。南無阿弥陀仏。南無。Okay, thank you everyone. We'll conclude the service here.